Okay, so there's a few things. My life has been going really, really unusual for a while. And it seems to me I've been meeting a lot of very interesting people over the past couple of years, past 2.5, 3 years, and key figures in history associated very closely with very important people in the work of God. And that includes somebody who used to deal with and hang out with Mandela in the role of ambassador from the United States to South Africa, as well as to Jamaica. In addition to that, I hung out with somebody who used to very much be part of Dr. MLK's movement from the beginning, as well as seeing interesting things on TV late at night, unusual things such as the great-grandson or the grandson of Marcus Garvey fighting to have his name cleared still today. In addition to that, I've met key people in music, including the daughter of Link Wray. Link Wray is one of the inventors of rock and roll. I've also started going to concerts here in Washington, D.C. since the 1980s when I was a little kid. When a lot of kids were trying to go to the library or to the mall, I was trying to go see bands play, see music live in Washington, D.C. That was permitted to have underage children as long as we didn't drink. And so they used to put X's on our hands for that. Black X's. Now, step forward to today, to this week, to a few days ago. I became a homeless man, lived in a doorway for one night, almost died walking to Human Services, and had to fight just to get Human Services from the Department of Human Services here in Virginia, where I grew up and lived most of my life. That's here in Arlington County, but I was able to obtain my residency through the good help of my friends who had helped me and who also kicked me out of their house, but it led to me actually getting into residency here in Arlington, Virginia. And so the process has been set forward for that. In addition to that, I've been praying very much using my Bible and praying. And then in this past year, started also using a Quran and a Freemason book, as well as most recently using the Art of War to study my prayers and to get closer to God and to understand things about this world. Now, my tent was burned down in Washington, D.C. about 3 months ago, including all my stuff. I came to this shelter with almost nothing at all. And I'm about to start building back up, getting warm clothing for the wintertime. But I've been saying to people, I want to get my prayer books back so I can pray properly, so I feel a little bit better. In addition to all that, I've rejected most of modern medicine and science because a lot of it is convoluted, although I kind of understand what's real and what's not. As I studied science at the collegiate level, including primarily social sciences, but also the physical sciences. And my mother is a PhD scientist and my father's an engineer. So you look at these things and you're like, okay, whoop-de-doo, who cares? Who's this guy? I've been once told I was pedigree because my stepfather was also a lawyer and my stepmother had a career as well, making good money. So I kind of laughed in their face. Also in the past couple of years, I realized that talking to the old man who's an old Irishman, he told me about when he learned about the concept of Slovakia and Slovaks, because I was talking to him about, old Irishman from Chicago, and you learned it from your grandfather as a little boy in Chicago. When he took you to the bar, I said, well, my grandfather took me to the bars as well when I was a baby boy. He would take me to the VFW and sit me up on the bar, and I'd drink root beer and eat grilled cheese while he hung out with the men. And I don't remember too much about it, but I remembered that. He said, well, Slovaks were the white slaves of Europe. The term Slovak and slave are actually the same together linguistically. So put it together. But anyways, in my prayers, I was praying, and I've been hungry and had no money and all these things. Now I'm here at a homeless shelter where I've got food, shelter, electricity, really clean bathrooms, really good, a lot of stuff. Of course, it's almost like an insane asylum because, I just left the bathroom and there was a naked man standing in front of the sinks, like going, covered in soap, like standing there weirded out. And yesterday there was a man bent over in the bathroom with his butt hanging out saying, So a lot of scary stuff here as well that most people would not want to stomach. I, on the other hand, like this place because right over the hill here, I'm on the top of the hill at Foxcroft Heights. And I'm across from Dama, the Ethiopian restaurant, which is where I first had my kitfa last week, about a week ago, which, I've had it before, but it's the raw beef. Anyways, we sit over top of the Air Force Memorial or monument, as well as the Pentagon, and overlooking the city of Washington, D.C., with a great view of the Capitol Dome and the Washington Monument. So this is my town. People said work locally, so I came back here to work locally. They finally made cannabis legal So weed, I can smoke weed legally, except when I'm inside this place. Now, add on to that a couple more things, and I'm gonna take a break here because somebody's walking up. Okay, so I just moved my location so that I could avoid sitting where people are gonna be sitting when they come out of the shelter this morning to smoke their cigarettes. But anyways, so all these things have been happening to me, and all these unusual things and signs and seeing coincidences. There's no such thing as coincidences. Anyways, my newest thing is like to sleep, and I can't sleep often. And so I know things that help me to sleep, and I know that I've maybe abused the things that help me to sleep, and it has nothing to do with drugs. So it has to do with love. And so I'm trying to learn to respect myself. I was telling my friend recently I have to get my temple back in line. I have to get my temple together. So I've kind of been blessed to have this place to kind of isolate. Now, I tell people, like, I'll be like, man, I'm like Rastafari skate punk. These things have coincided more too. But to keep this short and sweet, the other day, Saturday, today's Monday, Saturday, October 16th, I believe it was. I believe it was Saturday, but it very much could have been Friday, but I think it was Saturday. I was walking, and it was the first day that I had read Psalm 68. I've been reading the Psalms, trying to get for a long time I only read the New Testament, and I was on my 6th reading of the New Testament when my Bible and all my other holy books were burned. I was very upset. Now, in my reading, Psalm 68, it was the first time I saw the mention of the word Jah, J-A-H, and it was capital J-A-H. God in the Bible is usually God, G-O-D with a capital G. Now, for years, in my poetic and creative license, I spell God with capital G-O-D. I read Psalm 68, capital J-A-H, Jah. Now, on that same day, walking back from my outings during the day, I looked in the book boxes. There's book boxes, free book boxes everywhere in in the communities around here. I've seen them in other places, but definitely around here. So I hope you have them in your communities. And lo and behold, what do I find? A book about Rastafari principles and a Sanskrit manual. Now again, we say there are no coincidences. We know that as people of God. A lot of people say coincidence. Now, I come from a strange place called Reston, Virginia. I'm not going to get too into my concepts on that really. I wanted to record this morning so I didn't forget it. And so I did get a Bible, and I need to get a better one. I put that on the back. I got this one on July 30th when I went to a vigil when my tent was burned down in the camp. But there was a vigil there a few days later for the man who died, so they invited me to come out, and I did. I got to really see kind of other things from a different point of view that day, but also I kept studying my Bible then at that point. I restarted again. These are the books I found. I'm not making shit up. I'm not making this shit up. Rastafari and Sanskrit. So Rastafari is very important. I've been reading that. Sanskrit's important to that. So I got these books, and I opened my Rastafari book to, because I like to do things. I just said, what's this? Open it, boom. And I opened to page 99, the very first moment I got it. And it says right on the top there, freedom to express and create. This means freedom to share our ideas and creations with the world via art, music, and poetry. Also, freedom to roam. It means if we choose to simply roam the earth without doing anything that Babylon asks of us, we should be able to do it. Animals do it. Free, they roam just the way Jah intended them to do. Why not people too, if we choose to do so? So it's almost like everything I was doing has led to this point. And that's true of everyone. We've all led ourselves to this point. Now, I've been told I've been making lots of bad decisions. The bad decisions that people say I've been making have been because I've been following the signs of God. And they've been very clear to me and very, very cloudy and murky to the others around me. So I try to tell them, I try to show them, I try to tell them. Now, people have been discounting me, putting me down, and hurting me very, very sadly in my head, mentally, and and socially, including the woman I used to be married to is very, very good, I've heard, at making me look bad and saying bad things about me. I think that's terrible. I've managed to mind my business and keep my mouth shut for the most part in general about that kind of stuff. But apparently there's a lot of bad things being said about me in this Reston, Virginia, Northern Virginia punk rock scene or whatever, that my wife is spreading rumors about me. And that's fine, because people show themselves eventually. I should say ex-wife, whatever you want to call it. Very beautiful though, and that's why I think I was smitten. And you know, there was a lot of good times, but I think she's one of those government people. And honestly, I grew up around a lot of government agency types. You know, the alphabet agencies? Well, the people I grew up around with are deep into that, as well as in Congress and other things. Now, in all my studies and practices, I don't know really actually what's going on or what this plan is that God has for me. However, I do know this: something very special is happening in my life. I seem to walk into rooms or to places and stand out in everywhere I go. I don't know if I glow with my aura or my energy or the way I speak, because I blend Southern with Pittsburgh, with Northern Virginia, with intelligent, collegiate attitude. I don't know, but maybe it's my skateboarder and my punk rock cockiness and the way that I've learned from the lyrics and other teachers that there's a lot of iniquity in the world. And maybe it's just the fact that I'm tall and good looking. And I mean, I'm being real forward now. Now I do have some work to do, and my teeth, my person, my food. I have to eat better. I have to learn how to sleep and eat again. I'm doing that. I went for 4 days, and each day I had a meal about the size of my fist, and it wasn't a good meal. One was crab dip, one was beans and rice, one was just a steak and cheese sandwich for the whole day, and one was a bowl of macaroni and cheese. Now after those 4 days, I started eating again, and I wanted to eat a lot, but I couldn't eat one meal at a time. Well, I'm starting to be able to eat as much as I want now. And guess what? Where I'm living, right here, free food, free sleep, free rent, free electricity, everything. So it's up to me to set some goals, and that's what I'm working on. I have a special place in this God's royalty that's currently on earth trying to fix things. I don't know what it is. I think maybe I've been being looked for. People have been looking for me, and I think this is where I'm supposed to be. And I just have to wait here a while and see what happens, and make sure I walk through the walk in steps, and do not get scared, and do my best to follow what God wants me to do. And I've been told that means to just walk every day. That means stay alive, care for myself, care for my body. Don't run around to be a player. Don't try and get with every beautiful woman I see, because guess what? Here in Washington, D.C., some beautiful women from all over the world, and they're intelligent. So it's not kind of like a place where it's a lot of strippers and supermodels, like where I used to live in Tampa, Florida, which that it is. But that's up here, except for you also add into the fact that they're like PhD world-class intelligent, and they're the people that run the world, these ladies. And so I am here to find my true wife, to start a family, and to live happy and make art. And if I can offer perspectives or help to help people figure things out to make it a better place for everyone, I will. But as for me, I'm now bowing out of anything else, because I just want to figure things out. Now, God has a plan for me, just like God has a plan for you. And so with all these plans being made, we don't always get to pick. We don't always get to pick. So maybe there is something bigger, something majestic, something royal for me. And maybe I'm just a dude in a homeless shelter with a lot of coincidences going on around him. So anyways, if you want to insult people for being homeless or joke about it, if you want to insult people or joke about it with people who are hungry and sad and poor, and you make jokes, like a lot of people have been joking with me because they're affluent. They come from affluence, and they think I do too. Unfortunately, they don't really realize how I was brought up or where my parents chose to spend their money. It's called house poor. They wanted to look good, so they got the biggest places they could, which left me with one pair of shoes and a couple pairs of jeans. Now, I'm gonna say one more thing. A lot of the folks I know have white parents, and their mothers are from other countries around the world. Now, Bob Marley's father was a white Englishman sailor or some kind of shit, and his mother was a deep, deep Jamaican mountain woman. So, and I say that with the utmost respect. Now, the sad thing I see, and I'm going to go now, is that most of my friends who have backgrounds of both the Western European conqueror Caucasian, and then some beautiful other country where their mother is from, they choose to reject their mother's culture and embrace the white man. And they run around this country right now acting like they're cracker slave masters. What they don't understand, and I will say it's racism, the slave master is a white man, light-skinned, And he don't give a fuck about people who have other types. So y'all motherfuckers need to wake up. And yeah, cussing. My life is my life. Hope y'all find your path. Hope I find mine. And I do remember who helped me when I was down and out. And I do remember who kicked me when I was down and out. And I do have a special place in God's royalty. What that place is, we remain to see. You guys missed me. You were supposed to catch me and get rid of me, and you did for a while. Now the thing is like, I'm kind of seeing through all y'all. And it's really kind of disgusting. And then again, maybe it's a good thing. I don't know. Thing is though, I don't play that shit. I ain't playing nothing. I ain't never been playing. And it is a very, very, very beautiful day here in the capital of the Powhatan Nation. I think it's the Pequosan people. So like specifically, I'm gonna get myself up. I'm gonna walk myself down the hill to where all the Pentagon people hang out, and I'm gonna get some tea and chill out. Maybe get some pants if they have them at the store. Maybe not. I've been getting a couple donations, and I pray, and I prayed, and I was about to go back to sleep, and then I was like, nah, you can't go back to sleep. You might forget all this stuff. A couple more things, just while I'm thinking. So there are ancient words and ancient languages, and the language of Christ is Amharic, which the slave master has twisted into Aramaic. Aramaic is the ancient name for the language. Amharic is the modern name. What is the Amharic language? It's Ethiopian. So Aramaic, I've been looking at these Aramaic words in the Bible for a while. I've drawn them graffiti style. I'm like, I'm gonna tell you two words. Akeldama. Akeldama is the field of blood. That is where Judas hung himself after being a turncoat and a narc, basically, on Jesus Christ. Jesus was a servant of God, direct descendant of Solomon. The descendant of Solomon to Christ to Rastafari, Haile Selassie, him, H-I-M. So it's all documented. So like, it is a holy, spiritual, royal line defined by God from thousands and thousands of years. And so I will find my place. I know my skin is light. And I know what's up, but somehow I'm still here and put into this situation. But Akeldama, Judas hung himself after he threw the money back at the powers that be and said, I'm sorry I did it, take your money back. They said, we don't want your money. He said, fuck you, and threw it at him. Well, Judas went and killed himself. Then they bought the field that he killed himself with the money he gave back to them, the 30 silver pieces. So the field is still there today. If you think about the word Akeldama and the covenant of God, if you kill a man, then you shall be killed. The covenant of blood, Akeldama, I killed a man, Akeldama, I killed a man, I killed a man, Akeldama, okay? One more, look at this, one more. Ephatha. Ephatha is the opening. I call it the opening of heaven. It's the opening, Ephatha, a father, a father. They said Haile Selassie was the father of the fatherless. He took care of the children, Ephatha. Our government now does not take care of the children who are fatherless, to take care of the people who have no families. That is the job of the leader. That is the job of the leader in the world, to take care of the fatherless and the motherless, the children who have no body. But instead, in our country, the United States, they put them in cages. The government, the leaders. There is no democracy. It is a failure. There is royal people taking over the world. I am part of that. However, I don't know how. Ephatha, bring the father. The mothers cannot run this planet, unfortunately. They do now. Right now, mothers run the planet. Women and men are both vicious. But the fact of the matter is, in the law of the jungle and in the law of God, women do not run everything. And right now they do. And I can tell you now, I've had friends who want to help me. They talk to their wife and then they do not help me or return my calls. I've had women who want to help me. And they have this much to give. I have women, my mother, who let me be abused after I told her. We have an entire generation of children who took care of each other. Children taking care of children because the government failed them. The government did not take care of them. The government did not act like a father and take care of them. Did not protect us, the children. We protected each other now. We are the hardcore children of the United States of America. We are stepping forward among other people of the world, and I am one of those people. So now I will go. I'll say, one love. There is one God for the whole planet. No matter what name you call it, there is one God. And there is God's law. And these things will come to pass as they've already started. And I have been placed here on top to do my prayer warfare and my art warfare over top of the Pentagon in Washington, D.C., who run the world. Yes, I cannot make this up. This is not ideal, and I'm very scared. I live in fear. But I also live to know that God, Jah Rastafari, Jah, one God, one love, takes care of me. So, when I suffer, it is for a reason. Now, I am working on myself. I'm working on my art. And now I must go. And it's a beautiful day. And it's getting cold here. So I must find warm clothes. This is my cup. And if I let it sit there alone too much, it will break and fall. But that's my cup. This is a cup I found where I have friends who give away free food where I used to live. This is a cup I found at their house. I will let it sit like that.